This is April the 21st, and we are going to be doing lesson 106 in your math book. So if you would turn to the new concept, it's on page 565, and we are going to learn about how a grid of squares can help us determine area. All right, reading. A grid of squares can help us estimate the area of a shape. Below we show a figure on a centimeter grid. Each square on the grid is 1 square centimeter. We can count squares to find the area of the figure. So if you look in your book, and I'm going to mark up here, I'm going to make a dot in each one that is a full square. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8 full squares. And here we have a half of a square. And here we have a half of a square. So if we put these two halves together, we would have one whole. So we would end up with 9 square centimeters when we add our whole squares plus our half squares. So now we're going to show how we might use this. In this diagram, each square equals 1 square foot. What is the area of the figure on the grid? So somebody might maybe have a swimming pool in their backyard, and they would want to know how big is the swimming pool in square feet. So they would count up the whole squares. 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So there are 10 whole squares. You would put this half square and this half square together to equal 1. And this half square and this half square together to equal another one. So you would end up with your 10 whole squares plus these two halves equal 11. These two halves would equal 12. So you would have 12 square feet. But here's a problem. Shapes do not always have straight edges or fit exactly onto grids. Monica drew this shape on a piece of grid paper, and in order to figure that one out, you have to do something different. If a square is fully or mostly shaded, we count it as one whole square. If a square is only barely shaded, we do not count it. We see 5 squares that are whole or almost whole, and 4 squares that are about half shaded. So the area of Monica's shape is about 7 square centimeters. So here's one that's about all the way whole. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and then we might combine these in a different way too. We might say this would make 7. This might make 8 if you did those two together, and these you would not count. So you would have 7 or 8 depending on how you count it. You have to remember, it's an estimate, and sometimes the way some people estimate is different than other people, so you might get different answers. But it's about 7 square centimeters. Example 2. In this diagram, each square equals 1 square meter. Estimate the area of the surface of a pond. Okay, so we're going to count. We're going to start out with our whole squares to begin with. There's 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22, 23, and this is almost 1, 24, and this is more than half, 25. We could combine these two together and get 26. We could combine these two together and get 27. So we could say the area of the pond is about 27 square meters. So just do your best on your assignments today. Just do your best on counting the whole squares, and everybody's answer might not be the same, but we'll be close.